Hello, welcome to the listening show, a show you can listen to, hosted by me, Walter, also Zach. Y'all should listen to this. It is 3 degrees, which is much less than 0 in Celsius. That actually makes it negative degrees. It's 3 degrees Fahrenheit, so that means below 0. Anyway, we just got to this. Well, it's 1 degree now. And the low is negative 0. So
negative 0?
Yeah, negative. Yeah, because it's going to be below 32 Fahrenheit, below 0 Celsius, and below 0 Fahrenheit, which is negative.
Wouldn't that be negative 1?
I think this thing just stops counting after negative 0 in Fahrenheit. I think that's why it says that.
Under 0. I get it. Okay,
yeah.
Sorry.
So it's pretty cold in here too. So if you're watching, you'll see us bundled up. My Jeep was warmer than this, but it's okay because we have the appropriate technology. We have gloves and hats, and there are blankets here if we needed them. But I'm actually okay right now. Like my nose is cold, but I'm fine.
My legs are cold, but it's okay.
And actually, I take it back. My toes are cold, and that's why I'm got them tucked up like this. Anyway, in the car, we were talking about Teslas. That's a potential thing to go on about. I was assuming this is topicless. Oh, by the way, I have to apologize. We completely screwed up the titles or the episode numbers.
Yeah.
So last week we thought that it was 21.
We thought it was 20, and it was 21. Or no, wait, I'm sorry.
Whatever I said was right.
You were right.
We thought it was 21, but it was 22. And so I started it, even though Zach was supposed to start it. So that one was completely botched. And we accidentally uploaded for a moment the wrong episode as number 22 or something. Yeah. It's very confusing. We're on track now. Everything's fine. But we got home and we were like, what was the realization? Was it the name of it or how? I think it's how you listened to it and like, this doesn't sound like what we just recorded. Right. Is that what it was?
Yeah, no, I always listen after, like right after I publish it just to make sure. And I didn't this time. So I published it. We drove home, which was like an hour. And then I was like, I didn't double check that for the first time. It should be fine. But because I always get it right. And I was not right. One time I didn't do it.
We always check too before we name it and number it. But this time we're like, we've had it right 100% of the time. Why would that change now?
The one time none of us checked at anything, we got it completely wrong.
So that was a little awkward. I was like, well, what about the people who listened to it in the first hour? Like, this sounds just like last week's episode. What's going on here?
Right. Yeah. I only feel a little bad because whatever. Because I do whatever I want no matter what. We weren't talking about Teslas.
Yeah, we're talking about Elon Mustard and yeah.
Yeah. You're getting the Cybertruck when it comes out.
Yeah, man. I don't want to sound, what's the word? Basic, shallow, but I'm excited to get one. I know it's just stuff, but I'm really excited. I was bitching about how fatiguing it is to drive the Jeep for a long period of time because you're fighting everything. But with a Tesla, it's just a road trip would be so fun. It just drives itself, basically. But yeah, so they're supposed to come out at the end of this year. But I think they've been predicted to have been delayed until next year. However, there is a chance that some might get done this year, which means that some people will get to have one by the end of this year. I might be one of them. I don't know. There's a fair chance that I'm one of the first. I think I should have checked. If I didn't reserve it in 2 days from the announcement, it was like a week after the announcement. So I've got to be in the top 50%, whatever. Maybe top 25%. Anyhow, there's a slim chance I could go by the end of this year. Be kind of cool to be one of the first people. The first people are going to fly because you could wait for it to get delivered, but you can also go pick it up directly, which they're all being made in Texas. So I could fly to Texas and then drive it home. That'd be really cool.
That would be.
Anyway, and then I was telling you about how they're making cheaper ones eventually, and you want one.
Yeah, but not because it's cheaper, because I've always wanted a Tesla. Because I think they're cool.
I never cared about them until I learned about the Cybertruck, and I started because I'm a car. I like cars. I won't say I'm a car enthusiast, but it wasn't until after I learned about stats and stuff, or numbers on the cars. Like, oh, that's actually cool or impressive. I don't care about how they look. The Cybertruck, I happen to like the way it looks because it's just obnoxious.
It is. It's a little bit that. I actually have a feeling that once I like get used to it, because it's like the memes are out there, it doesn't look regular. It looks a little Minecrafty, a little polygonal. But I have a feeling that once people get used to seeing them, then other cars will start looking goofy in weird ways. And
well, it was really interesting because they did it for a lot of good reasons. Cut me down on my rant. I could rant for a while on the Cybertruck.
I rant all the time. It's your turn.
All right. I'm going to sniffle a lot. My nose is cold. So the reason they made a truck is because America's largest market of car sales is trucks, which is dominated by the Ford F-150. So there's a large consumer base for trucks, and Tesla, we should make a truck. But Tesla thought if we make a truck like everyone else does, and everyone makes a truck that basically looks like the Ford F-150, and trucks have looked the same for 50 years, if we want a chance, it has to be better than them, and it has to be different than them. And then one way to make it better is to make it cheaper, and the way they're constructing it is cheaper at the cost of looks, because it's much more simple to manufacture, but they can still make it out of stainless steel. But it makes it less expensive than it would be if it made all the fancy stuff. So, like, I support the decision. It'd be pretty cool. Like, if you crashed in that thing, you would demolish the other person's car. It'd go bad. Oh, you would. Like,
That's what you like
no,
about
it's true, though. You would demolish it. Like,
I know.
I think that about my Jeep, but that's only partially true. It would get less destroyed than the car it went head on with. But the Tesla would just destroy it. You just kill people with it.
It's not funny.
There'd be no chance of them getting back up. No, never going back to their families. 100% efficient. That's what Tesla likes.
100% kill rate. 100% best gas mileage you can get. 100% kill rate.
Here's why I'm excited about it, since I'm still going on about it. What do I like in vehicles? Speed, specifically acceleration. I like hitting the gas and then going up to 0 to 60 time. That's what I care about. Some people care about top speed. It goes 200 miles an hour. I'm like, great. I'll never be able to use that. I'll never go 200 miles an hour on the road, so I don't care about it. 0 to 60, you can do that all the time. All the time. Mm-hmm. Motorcycles are good at that. They can make top speed, whatever. So the Cybertruck is 2.9 seconds. 3 seconds is fast by any metric. So that's really fast, and it does it for the price of, well, way less than a supercar, which does the same speed, but then it does everything. It goes fast, has all the fancy fun Tesla stuff. It drives itself, whatever, but then it can haul my crap, which is a big one. So I could go on road trips with my motorcycles and for fairly little cost and in great comfort. Until they make a new one the next year, and then the trucks and Teslas are like the iPhones of cars, and they're gonna get, because technology gets cycled really quick. Oh, my nose is so stuffy. Other than that, though, sorry, I started by defending the reasons for why that Cybertruck looks the way it does, and then I kind of went off.
That's okay. I was going to ask you to talk about its towing capacity, because that's
what trucks are supposed to tow. Four wheel power trucks. You can load up in the truck, drive in the country road.
That's it. That's trucks.
The tri-motor Tesla Cybertruck tows 14,000 pounds. That's the same as 14,000 one-pound burgers.
It's the same as 14,000 1-pound tobacco, chewing tobacco. If you chaw, you raw.
Oh my gosh, you try to salvage it.
You chaw. No jaw.
That's true though about tobacco. You could get mouth cancer and lose your jaw. The end.
If you jaw,
he goes
no
off.
Jaw.
He goes in that voice. No jaw. That's true, by the way. You can lose your, and they the end, and he closes it off.
If you jaw.
There's 3 trims. I only care about the fast good one, which is 2.9 seconds, 14,000 pounds. I believe 14,000.
When you say trims, is that like models? Cuts.
Trim means
It's like
So my Mustang GT350R is the trim. There's so many Mustangs. There's slow ones. There's convertibles. There's different kinds of Mustangs. So there's 3 Cybertruck trims, and that just means the speed or the batteries that are in it, which would translate to mileage, speed, towing capacity. Mine's called the Tri-Motor.
So you said that the truck is made out of stainless steel. Can you paint it? Can you paint it other things other than that silvery?
Well, actually, 2 things about that. They're not planning to paint them because that saves them money.
Sure.
I guess you could paint it. 2 things. I was planning to get mine wrapped to matte black, but I think that they said they're going to make some in matte black.
Cool.
So maybe they are standard, not painted, but you could probably choose to pay to have it painted at Tesla black or nothing. I don't know what they're going to offer, but they said they're going to do matte black, which is what I and a lot of people want. So
cool.
basic.
Well, it's everything you could ever want in life. It's your dream.
That's why I'm excited, because if I get that, then I'll be happy. That's all it is.
It will. Let me just tell you something. All I needed was carpet in my life, and now I'm happy. I don't need to strive anymore. That's exciting.
There's no greater value or purpose.
There's nothing about life else. Just carpet.
People don't factor into carpet trucks unless
Yeah.
you're killing them with it.
Yeah. I've had people, like friends over almost every day since I've gotten it. The first 2 days, like out of principle, I was like, no, this is for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it myself. Every other day people have been over because it's like, why wouldn't I? This place is basically a mansion now.
I'm blessed and I must share my wealth with others.
Yes. Look at my success. That's what I want
The
to tell
very
them.
ground you walk upon is my greatness.
My values here as a person. No, I totally get it. That's it. That is exciting. It's a cool thing to, like, even if, like you said, it's stuff.
But we know it's just stuff, but it's still fun to have something to be excited for.
Yeah.
Do you know what you're excited for? It could be a smaller thing than that. Mine
A
is a
stuff
year-end
thing?
goal. Well,
Should we talk about stuff?
A stuff thing, because I'll save it. Do you have something you're excited for?
As far as stuff, I'm going to assume what you're asking is
Stuff.
what stuff do you want?
Well, sure, whatever. Go ahead. I have a follow-up to my own question, but I can answer it only if it helps you think. Otherwise, go on.
There's actually this weird thing that's kind of going on where I feel like I have so much stuff right now. I didn't ever think I'd say this, and I'm sure this will change, but I'm pretty happy with all my things. Like, my car could be a little better, but it's within 4 years. My house could still be a little better, but it feels new to me. I have internet now, and I named
That's
it.
nice.
I named my Wi-Fi. I now pronounce you husband and Wi-Fi, and I'm really proud of that.
Why is it husband and not man?
Oh, just because I had enough characters for it.
Okay.
I've always heard that. I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may now smooch.
What about freaking Robin Hood Men in Tights? He says man and wife.
Man and wife. Yeah, no, I get it. I could have done that. That would have saved me even more characters for something
Yeah, but I like
else.
the idea of using all the characters for your Wi-Fi name, so it's as
I did.
obnoxious as possible.
I did. It's long.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think I had enough characters for now. I think I did. I pronounce you husband and Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And my password
didn't
is
do now.
chicken12.
So if you know where he lives, just drive by and
Yep.
get some free
If you guys
husband
need
and Wi-Fi.
If you guys need any internet or carpet to sit on while you're on the internet, look for that. Yeah, I'm so famous that I feel like people are going to be driving around with their Wi-Fi open until they find that, and then they'll know.
There it is.
Yeah, Zach must live here.
Yeah.
He's super famous. Wow. Just to be in the general vicinity,
General Wi-Fi
800 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, is so special to him, to me as a fan of Zach. Nah, I'm actually pretty happy with my stuff right now. I'm sure there's things like I would like more plugins for my studio. Don't need it. I don't know. What was your follow-up question?
It wasn't a follow-up question. It was a follow-up answer to my own question, which is I'm excited to have my vehicles paid off and then buy my house that I'm renting.
Oh yeah, that is
very
exciting.
excited about that. Whenever that happens, I'm working toward it. It's a goal. And when it happens, nothing much is going to change. Functionally, I'll wake up and everything will basically look the same, but it's going to feel totally different. It's kind of like with your carpet. It is a functional change to a degree, but it changes so much. So waking up just knowing this is my house.
Yeah.
I can paint this wall with this color if I want to.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun. I can hang up something here if I want to. I don't know. I can't wait. That's a fun little / good goal. A little bit more noble than buying another car, but still kind of material.
Noble. Yeah. There's nobility in having stuff, I think.
No, I mean in owning your own home. Is
No,
what I
yeah.
meant.
No, definitely. I get what you meant. I am excited about one thing, and I've talked to you about this before, but I've always had this dream that when I lived in my own place, I would dedicate a wall to doodles, but they'd be like cool doodles. Cause I'm a doodler and I do pattern doodles on blank paper until the paper's filled up and it looks really intricate and kind of cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that with a wall and just use a regular Sharpie instead of a ballpoint Sharpie. Because when you have a small, like I normally do it on Post-it notes like this, and then I fill it with a ballpoint or like a tiny, very thin Sharpie, whatever they call those. Popping. Anyway, so I fill up the paper. I wanted to do that with a wall. And then I thought about it and I was like, I just have an extra room here and I'm going to have to repaint it at some point anyway. So I should do it. So I'm thinking about, just when I have free time, putting on music and then taking a Sharpie and then just starting at the corner and then just drawing intricate little patterns until the whole wall is just patterns.
Well, I don't know if you can do this at your place, but if you did, what wall you'd want to do it on?
I'd probably do it in my old roommate's room.
Oh.
Just because it's like an extra room and it's empty, and if I mess up, it's in that room anyway. But like for example, it would take a long time to do anyway. So if it's just something I go in there and put 15 minutes to every couple days or whatever, maybe in a few years when I can afford to finish that room, then I could put carpet in there, and then there's like one cool wall, and then it would look cool. Actually, the hope with that idea was that I do that when I bought a house and I owned a place.
Right, yeah.
But I was like, I live here, and I won't be heartbroken, I don't think, when I have to paint over it too bad, because it's just something.
Yeah.
It's just something busy to do. I'd get a picture.
Yeah.
I'd have it forever because I did it.
If you're allowed to do that at that place, you don't actually own it, I'd say go for it. I agree. I don't think you'd be so heartbroken when it's gone and it's just a cool.
Yeah. It's sort of meditative, if that's a word. So I can just zone out and just do something. What I think is going to happen is I'm going to start and I'm going to be like, my back hurts. And then I'm going to want to not do it anymore. And if that's the case, I don't want just like one corner of cool doodles.
My back hurts just sitting here. No, I'm not kidding.
I know.
Yeah. So I started binging today. I knew they existed. I just never watched them. YouTube videos of guys in Singapore digging underground homes.
Oh, I love those videos. Freaking 2 a.m. Nothing better than watching Singapore dudes build freaking underground pools and with bamboo.
Very
freaking
satisfying.
mud. These guys make magic out of mud. I promise you that.
It's very fun. It makes you happy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
That's
I got
okay.
excited because you said something that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about men from Singapore playing with
underground
mud.
homes. Yeah.
Yes.
But I like them a lot, but I get a little bit of an anxiety. But I really start feeling awful because my back starts hurting sympathetically watching them work. I'm like, I couldn't do it. It looks like so much fun, but I know physically I couldn't do it. My back would hurt before my muscles did.
Mm-hmm. What's awesome is there's a picture that went around online. Man, I'm just popping a lot. Sorry, I'm gonna back away.
I didn't even hear it.
There's a picture online where they got their YouTube play button or whatever, the gold one, because they have a couple million subscribers now.
But there's several channels that do it.
Mm-hmm. The ones I'm thinking of, it shows the 3 guys who do that channel holding the plaque up, and the comment that it's highlighted is, "This is the most well-earned YouTube play button ever." Because like these dudes just like they're in it. They make like dyes out of flowers and stuff.
Yeah, the dyes, the paint blew my mind.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I think that's a joke because I don't know what channel it is, but every video title starts with the most, the most ever or something like that. Every single title starts with that. So the comment you just said, I'm sure was a joke about their titles, the most ever deserved play, whatever.
Oh yeah,
That's what that must have been.
I don't know.
I didn't notice until I read a comment that said this is the every video is the most of, and whatever it was. And I was like, I looked at it. You're right. Every single one says that. I didn't notice.
Huh.
Yeah, I've only watched like 5 between 2, maybe 3 different creators. So I was looking at it, and one of my thoughts was, who's recording this?
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't get this far, but I read a comment saying, I hope this isn't made by some producer, someone exploiting their hard work. And I was like, that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think that's not the case, but like, I don't know that.
Yeah, that thought kind of crossed my mind too. It feels so dirty then.
Then I wouldn't enjoy it at all.
I think that was
I don't know.
Yeah, that was what was wholesome about the one with the 3 guys. Because I didn't mute my phone. That was what was so wholesome about that picture, because it was just the 3 dudes, and they were all like from that place. And it was like, I feel like that these 3 guys just take turns doing these different projects.
Oh my gosh, that makes sense. Okay, here's a question. This is important to ask. So in their videos that you watch, were there ever 3 on screen?
No,
Only 2. Okay.
there's only 1. Usually,
Only
sometimes
1?
there's 2.
Okay, that would make sense. So when I watched, the one time there was 1, otherwise there's always 2. But I got confused because I was pretty sure I was watching a video from the same channel, but the 2 guys were not the same 2 guys. Like, what channel is this? But it could have been that one of them was cycled out with the cameraman, and that's why I thought, like, it looks different, because that would explain a lot. And then I'd feel better if it were just a group, because that's what I always imagined when I saw the thumbnails years ago. I assume it's just some guys just doing it, and I hope that's what it is anyway.
I do too. It's so cool that it makes me want to build an underground pool.
I was like, I want a house with property, and I'm just going to dig a hole in my yard, because why not? Just like your Sharpie wall.
Yeah.
It's just something you go out and do every once in a while, like as a project to work on. Eventually, I'll have an underground hidden pool. That sounds like so much fun.
I know.
It probably wouldn't work that way because, first of all, things that are buried in all the grounds, to the ground itself, their dirt seems to be perfect for it, whereas ours is just dirt.
It's like soddy.
It probably wouldn't work.
Yeah, they got.
It makes you want to dig a hole.
Yeah, that's like what I did when I was younger. I think I told the story about having to bury a puppy, but I was like digging this hole in the backyard.
Right.
It was just a big freaking hole. It got so deep that I got like, I could put over half of me in there. It went like over my rib cage, the bottom of it, and it was cool. It was a cool hole, and I used it to bury a puppy because I didn't have another reason to have it. I was like, well,
the awkward part was finding a puppy to kill.
oh gosh, yeah, I wish that.
They
was
want to
what
waste the
happened.
hole.
Yeah, I didn't.
The biggest, I don't think I did dig in the ground as a kid. Who didn't? But the biggest thing I dug was in a snow mound. It was huge, 16-foot snow drift was what they called it, a snow drift.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't last long because we had to leave. We were visiting grandparents in a different state, but it was so fun to just keep digging. Like, how far can it go? And is it going to collapse on us? I don't know, but I want to know how much I can dig. So it's just fun. Yeah, those videos, I'm like, I actually think I said this out loud joking to myself, because I thought I heard somebody at the door. And I was going to go, get the fuck out of the room. I'm watching Minecraft. That's what they're doing. It's real life Minecraft.
It is.
It's so satisfying.
It is.
You know what'd be funny? I don't know if anyone's ever done this. They should put Minecraft music over that video. It would be so funny and also good. It'd work.
It would. It is a little bit Minecrafty. Like
I want to do that. I just want to play it in the background.
The piano. Dun, dun,
And then,
dun,
yeah, and then the dig noise. All the noises. And then the water bucket noise when they pick up a water bucket, like all these perfect sound effects. Oh my gosh, I'd be wildly. I'm already wildly entertained by them, but that'd just be funny.
Oh, it'd be perfect, and it'd be easy to edit. I think you just add.
It'd take a while, but it'd be very fun.
That's okay. But going back to just those videos, that's the part that I think that's where I would lose it. Like I find with the digging and the padding and the mud, but getting the water over and over. They have like a bucket and they scoop it up, and then they bring the water just bucket by bucket. And it's like,
yeah, I watched some of these.
They
two
fill
guys.
a whole pool
Yeah.
like that. That would take forever, and your freaking shoulder would be all it's so much water to carry in a bucket.
I feel sympathetic pain and I feel bad for some parts, but I did watch a video when two of them went in the water, waded in water, got water. I don't know why they went all the way into the water, walked into pickup jars, walked out, dumped in the pool, went back. Like, you're going to do this for the whole pool? That made me really sad. I was like, just make a freaking bamboo line. Just cheat. And I was like, well, if they do that, then it's going to overfill.
That, and it's going to, ruin the structural integrity of their pool borders because then they have to get it in. I get it.
So
I get
cool,
why they
though.
have to put it in there, but it's like, that is a lot. In the one I watched, there was a dude doing it himself. And he would walk kind of a ways to go get a bucket of water, bring it back, put it in there. And he just did that over like multiple days. But hey, the video had like 15 million views. So
somebody got money.
yes.
Hopefully
so
him.
Yes, I hope he did. I hope he did. I wonder where their computer is if it's them. See, they don't look like computer people.
Well, I just assume they don't actually live in the jungle. That's just a hobby. They're good at it. They it's not like they live in the jungle, I don't think.
Sure.
They live in a neighborhood that has some internet connection.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But they're like, let's go in the jungle and build some crap because it's fun. Make videos about that. That's what I assume, but I don't know.
Part of me does think it's probably this sort of thing where like some businessman came
asshole
there.
came in and was like, hey man,
I'll
you
give
want a little bit of money?
I'll
Go
give
dig me
you
a hole.
Yeah,
And
I'll
then
give
he's
you
making-
GoPros. You just have to record everything you do and send it to me, and then I'll pay you money.
Pay you a lot of money, wink, but it's
For
not.
them.
It's not actually. Yeah, it's not actually a lot, and it's nowhere near what they deserve off of what the videos are making.
I'd cry if that's the way things were.
Yeah, if I knew that was the case, I wouldn't watch the videos. I would want to support them. I mean, shit, that's tough. That's tough.
Because I still get money for you.
Yeah, that's tough. What a moral conundrum.
I think I would find that guy and I'd say, no, you better not. And then he would just stop. He'd be like, oh, wow, I shouldn't. And then he wouldn't.
No one ever told me no.
No one ever had the gall to tell me no. No. I love the idea of weekly going to some CEO businessman who's being corrupt. It's like, hey, you. And he turns around. No.
Yeah.
He's like,
no. Yeah, the aghast response.
yeah. Some
It
documentary.
got him way deep.
Yeah, some documentary later in life is like, and that's the moment I knew I needed to change. He's like sitting down talking to the camera.
Yeah, that's great.
And he said no.
I knew.
Hey, you. No. Something about it makes me happy. I wish that was, you could solve corruption with no.
It's my favorite word. It's a very powerful, very useful word.
I think my favorite word is actually yes, for a very different reason.
It's funny though, because it's like, literally the antithesis, and we're kind of opposite in our, what do you call that, dispositions? Like you're optimistic, I'm pessimistic. It kind of speaks to that. But anyway,
yeah.
I think you were going to talk about how useful the word yes is.
I mean, do you want a girl to say no or yes? Just
Well,
in
it
general.
depends on what you're into.
Do you hate me? Yes. No. Almost everything you ask a person,
Well, it's easy.
it's like, hey, do you want to go to do this? Yes. Good. That's what I want to
I
hear.
understand, but
Yeah.
no can work. Do you not hate me?
You're just muddying the waters.
Politics.
Yes. It's politics. I just think yes is so affirmative. Like, okay.
Yes, but no is so strong.
It is. But like, think about this. There's a stranger walking and you walk up to them and say, yes. Would they feel happy or would they feel sad?
I don't care about how you feel.
But like, now the other way, on the other hand, you walk up and you say, no, or no. It doesn't matter how you say it, but one of those will make them feel like, okay. And the other one will make them feel like, oh, what? Like, what did I do? And the no one is the one that will make them feel that.
In case you're wondering, no is the bad one.
Do you just imagine how happy someone would be if you walked up and, yes. And then you ran off. They'd be like, okay, yeah.
That's funny. Just that on its own, not comparing it to no, but the idea of just using yes to a stranger.
Yeah.
What a funny idea.
Just yes feels so positive.
Yeah.
And like, whatever it is, I'm with it. Yeah, it builds. Yes builds, no breaks. And that's why I don't like no.
No, yes is an unstoppable force. No is an unmovable object. It's not about breaking. It's about stopping.
Yes builds, no breaks. I think it is. I'm saying no to you right now.
I like mine better. No, yours is good. I just was
Yeah.
thinking about if I had to use one later on, I would say yes is an unstoppable force, no is an unmovable object.
Yeah, I like no too. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate no. I just think yes is good.
Yeah, I get it. If you have to pick one, you're going for yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'd pick no. And
If you had to pick between no and maybe, I'd be happy to pick no. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's like
weak.
Yeah, look if you walked up to this person and said maybe, what do you think they'd think? They think like, what?
Perhaps try that one.
Perhaps. Hey, perhaps.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know what to think about that. But if you walked up and said yes, they'd be like, yeah, I know. I know yes. I know yes. I think it's worked. That's why it makes sense to me. Yes. It's the one you say when things get done. No's the thing you say when things get stopped.
Yeah, well, sometimes things need to be stopped.
Yes, but
I mean,
only
they're both necessary.
Yes.
This is literally yin and yang. And then Tao is the way, which is neutral. Jin, which is maybe.
Neutral Jin, where you do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are 3 Jins? Well, actually, there's 87. But let's focus on the 3rd. We just watched that the other day. That's from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
King Boomy of the Earth Kingdom. Duh. It's that one.
Yeah.
It sounds like that.
Yes. I mean, yes. Didn't you feel good when I said that just now?
No.
Am I?
What a great quick representation of yes versus no.
Do you feel good? No. That's perfect. It goes back to our improv days when the rules just say yes because the scene goes somewhere. Even if it goes a bad place, it does go somewhere. And that's what stories do, is they go places. There's no point in a story that doesn't go anywhere.
I was just thinking, tring, we're closed.
Yeah. Tring, no.
No, it's so good.
It is.
Anyway, let's move on.
It's good punctuation. Yes isn't very good punctuation. Yes is a comma.
Punctuation?
Yeah, yes is a comma. No is like a period.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, yeah, whatever. It's about. Yeah, it says momentum. No is a solid stop. Whatever.
Yeah. Brakes and gas.
No. Oh, those brakes are different. That's stopping, which is what I said. Rather than destroy. No doesn't destroy.
Yeah, you're right. But if it does anything, it's, well, I don't know. Okay, so you can imagine another way to look at it. Water and fire. You know which one is which in that scenario. No is the no. Okay, I won't go into that.
Yeah,
it's just more.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. Yes. There's I almost died this week. I won't tell it, but it's so cold here. I was driving home after the Super Bowl, which broke my heart. Maybe we could talk about that.
No.
Driving home sad. I was looking through and the semi slid and I almost died. And a whole bunch of people almost died. I actually put on my yield lights, click, clock, and a bunch of people behind me saw I put on my yields. They're like, oh, we're going to slow down. And the semi is going flying past. Well, I saw the semi coming fast. It's like, I better be careful. Put on my yields. Sure enough, the semi tries to brake and it just starts sliding sideways on the highway. And I was thinking, if I wouldn't have slowed down, I would have slid directly into this semi bed and probably got decapitated. And I don't want to lose my head.
I feel like it's supposed to tie into a joke you made earlier. Oh, I guess it would have, if the semi truck was a Tesla truck, maybe then it would have made, my brain's like struggling with some stuff.
You're driving your Tesla truck into a semi and it just lifts the semi truck
well,
up.
decapitates, it kills people was the joke from earlier.
Yeah, it's not really a joke. That's pretty not funny.
And yeah, I'm over here laughing.
Yeah.
So the snow. I started by saying, wow, I can't believe tired. I started by saying how it's like 0 below 32 below 0 freezing. And it started snowing Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember which one of those 2 days. Saturday, I think. We got snowed in kind of because the roads were just crap. You couldn't go anywhere without sliding around. And after you made it home from that near-death ordeal, you're like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, well, I can't go anywhere either. Mm-hmm. But the roads have been clear for like a couple days. So we were able to drive out here to record this, but it's supposedly going to start snowing, going into crap again. I could have made it out if I had my Jeep, but I didn't. But I just got it back last night. So we're good. And I was going to go somewhere with that. Yeah. So I got stuck in the snow when it started in my car, which is worse than a car because it has slick tires. And so it's super slidey. I had to go home at like 25 miles an hour. Everybody behind me hated me. I'm like, I'd rather be hated than dead because this car will not make it. And yep. I always feel validated when I know the limits of my vehicle, like whether I'm banking on a bike or in this case in the snow. Like I know if I go 2 miles an hour faster, it will lose traction. Like I just know.
Yep.
And I'm always proven right. I shouldn't say I end up being validated. Anyhow, people are behind me. On some occasions, someone's too close. I won't say tailgating, but too close. And I'm like, I'm going to slide so they back off. I can control a slide right now. Just I'm going to do it real quick. And then they back off. I'm like, I think it's better than waiting until I have a slide I can't control. And then they're right there. And but that aggravates me.
Oh,
people behind me, like, you don't realize that, yeah, I'm going slow and this is inconvenient. Do you think I want to go slow? Do you not? I thought that was wind. You not realize this car has slicks and it can't move in the snow? Anyway, it's not like anybody got out and yelled at me if they couldn't, but I'm sure they wanted to. Anyway.
I get it. Same thing happened to me on that highway that night. And I probably saved their lives by going slow enough. Because I got so upset because there's trucks, it's always a truck. It was just on my ass while I'm driving on this ice, and your car is really bad in the snow just because it's a sports car. But mine is bad because I'm on really old tires. And that is, I would say, just really darn close to as bad. And it was really bad at that point because it was like 11 o'clock at night and it was like 6 degrees and snowing. It's just awful. Anyway, so I got so mad, I turned on my hazards. Then I just left them on for a while. Then the semi came, and that's when I turned them off at one point because I felt fine. They were behind me a ways. Then I saw the semi come. I was like, let's do this again. People started slowing down, and then there was one guy who like slid almost all the way to the semi, and then it took him a while to be able to turn to get around it. I was glad that I was sort of leading that way because it got kind of piled up behind it, and I was able to just go around it. Yeah, no, it sucks. Driving in the ice sucks. My sister says that her husband loves it. Because I was like,
what does he drive?
I don't know. He just likes sliding. He feels safe doing it.
It can be fun. I mean, like if you have 4-wheel drive.
If there was nobody else around, sure.
Yeah, that if you have a controlled environment or you have a vehicle you can control. So like that's why I was asking. Maybe he has something that has 4-wheel drive because even then, or something.
Yeah.
Maybe he has studded tires or something to where he has some kind of control where it's like, now I can have fun.
I don't know. I think
I can envision a scenario where someone could have fun, but
I guess I could too if you had like you said, a vehicle for that.
Like my Jeep. I like sliding in that. I feel okay because if I slide, I hit a curb, I'll be fine. I'll just go over the curb. I'm not going to damage my car.
Yeah.
And it has 4-wheel drive, so I could slide with more control. Like, I'm not going to try to slide necessarily, but I'll enjoy it when I do because I don't feel like I'm in danger. Maybe maybe that's something that he's doing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But my car's like front wheel drive, and so when you're back just starts sliding away from you, it's like, oh my gosh, stop this! And you're trying to turn with it, and then the front wheels are the ones trying to pull it back.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's butt cheeks.
Ass.
It's 2 butt cheeks. It's like a whole entire ass. I hate it. There's been times that I don't even like trucks, but I've been like, I live in a place where snow happens and ice happens, and I'm just so afraid to use my car in these conditions that I'm getting a truck. Fortunately, my job is all about if you don't feel safe to drive, just work from home.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably would have pulled the trigger and gotten a truck of some kind or 4-wheel something or other.
Yeah. A lot of SUVs have, 4-wheel capability. That way you have like the best of both worlds, a car, cabin, and what do you call that? Versatility or cargo of a truck.
Towing or whatever. This is what I'm a little worried about. I'm worried you're going to get your Tesla truck and I'm going to want one.
Oh, I anticipate that when I get a Cybertruck, you'll want a Tesla, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
Not necessarily.
Unless you mean a truck exactly.
Yeah, I think I will want it. I think I'll want a Cybertruck when you get. I think I'll get in there and be like, "This is what I want." Because it's
not a bad thing. It's nice to know what you want.
I know, but remember I told you I'm in that place where I don't need stuff right now, or I don't even think I need stuff. I've convinced myself I don't want anything else, and I'm like really happy.
Yeah.
And so when I want something, then I won't be happy. So.
Well, that's a while from now. Hopefully, at that time, you'll be ready to want things.
Yeah, I'll be in a place to want things.
Yeah, I won't get a Tesla truck anytime soon, so you can be happy with what you have.
I'll be happy for the next 9 months or whatever.
Yeah,
because you've got a baby brewing in there, and it's a Tesla truck baby. It's a Tesla truck baby. It's gonna grow up to be a whole Tesla truck.
Oh, it actually almost makes sense. In 9 months' time, a Tesla will be born.
Yeah.
Cybertruck, whatever. I keep calling it Tesla truck and stuff.
I said Tesla truck, comma, baby, but then afterwards I realized this is a thing. I said 9 months and Tesla truck baby. Get rid of the comment. It's a whole entire joke. And it's the funniest joke I've ever said, too. I've never said anything funnier. I don't think. I was watching TikToks when we stopped for tacos on the way out here, and I kept quoting a TikTok to you. There's a trend going on right now where people take clips from a Mario Kart Wii game or Mario Kart, one of the new Mario Kart 8.
I think it's 8.
Well, there's Coconut Mall. It's like a place you can drive in Mario Kart, and there's a clip of people playing a video where you build anticipation to watch something happen, and as soon as it happens, it cuts away to Coconut Mall, and there's a guy who says, "You've just been coconut mauled. Tag your friends to totally coconut maul them." And it's so funny to me. It gets me every time because I'm like watching, like, what's gonna happen? You've just been coconut mauled. Tag your friends to totally coconut maul them. Anyway, makes me happy. We watched that on the way out here. And actually, I brought up something that's interesting. I think it is, at least. I talked about, theoretically, there's a bunch of kids right now who are making jokes about this. Like, oh, dude, Travis got totally coconut mauled. It's like the new pwned or something. And then, like, what if that gets adopted and becomes part of, like, the
culture was the word you used.
Yeah, part of the culture, but it's also like the part of the
language.
Yeah, what's the word that
slang?
We just talked about this word. The lexicon.
What's your word?
Yes. It becomes part of the lexicon, and then people just start using that to mean this. And now here, like 50 years down the road, there's this old guy telling his grandkids he's playing ping pong or some modern game or futuristic modern game with his grandkids, and he beats them. He's like, "Ha ha, you kids just got coconut mauled." And these kids are like, "What does that even mean?" Everybody's been saying it since I've been born.
The way you put it was young people 50, 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Using coconut mauled casually as part, and then they go, "Where'd that come from?"
Yeah.
That's a funny thought.
There's things that we say all the time,
and you said something like Josh and you. And you're like, well, who is Josh? Or where'd that come from? Like, yeah, where did that come from?
Where did Josh come from?
Presumably Josh was a real person. I would like to meet that guy and find out how this started. It'd be interesting if coconut mauled came in.
Yeah. You got totally coconut mauled. But like there's other things like that. At some point somebody said this thing and it just became like, what's an example?
Adopted is a good word.
They adopted it into the language, but it's like it's a euphemism. It's like a phrase that means this thing, but it became like, now we just think of that means this.
Chickens home to roost.
That's something
like that.
Apple fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
Things like that where people,
presumably there was an actual event
Yeah,
or real life occurrence of this that started this.
I mean, you can imagine those two specific examples. Like those can be more general and maybe
Those
everybody
are general.
but there's like really specific
When
things.
you say Josh, presumably Josh was a specific person.
Or maybe there's a stereotype that
Coconut
Josh
Mall is so specific.
Yeah, there's things specific
So there are
like
things like that in our culture now, and you have to wonder where they came from, and that something like Coconut Mall might be in that way in the future.
maybe there's like Shakespeare. He named certain people, like he came up with certain names like Stephanie, and people have just assumed Stephanie's always been a name. No, he just made it up. Shakespeare made up Stephanie, I believe. I think it's Stephanie. But like he himself started so many cultural trends that he just was doing because like I just need a new name for this character, and then now it's a name. There's things like that happen all the time where it's just like they make something up and then it becomes a thing. Is it Stephanie that the name is? I don't know, but he did a lot of that. He's one example of guys who just like he just kept doing things and people used that because it became Shakespeare plays were like integrated into the culture. Shakespeare was like essentially TikTok of that time. Everybody's like, "Did you watch the Whimsy in the Park that Shakespeare did?" They're like, "Oh." And then they're like quoting Shakespeare like we do with freaking Idiocracy or Robin Hood Men in Tights. They're like at home like, "Oh, and when he said, 'De verily doth the gale windeth blow,' ah ha ha."
Total lols.
It's like a total fart joke. Doth the gale, doth the gales floweth free. The totally is a fart joke.
That is funny how people would be quoting stuff from their culture.
Yeah, and like making jokes about it.
Yeah, that's funny.
I wonder how many freaking funny people died 1,000 years ago. Like really funny dudes.
I always think that the funniest, most talented, specifically, I was thinking of musicians. I think those people have already existed.
Yeah.
So it's certainly super talented musicians we don't even know about, as an example, have existed. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's a shame to
or exist now that then they'll never be found.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've thought about that. Definitely.
Or famous or really talented musicians that exist right now that nobody knows about. Me. I realized you weren't making that joke, but I realized it could have gone there. That's pretty funny.
Well, I just like even like you can think of like the most famous person for music you can think of. Maybe Justin Bieber. I don't know. Him as an example. Everybody considers him like he's like the most talented singer in the world, blah, blah, blah. I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know if that's exactly it. But, you know, everybody has their opinion of who the best singer in the world is. They're definitely not the best singer in the world.
Yeah.
They just are the ones that got found. And they're really good. Like Justin Bieber's a great singer. But surely, like, of the 6 billion of us, like the one who put up YouTube clips and got found isn't the one.
Yeah.
It's the one who doesn't know what YouTube is, living in Zimbabwe or making pools with his buddies in the forest.
Or they don't even know that they have this talent because they've never tried to develop it, but they have it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
that
that
makes
sucks.
sense.
A talent someone might have that's completely unfound in themselves and undeveloped. Like,
Well,
for example, turns out, Zach, you're like the greatest fighter pilot ever to live, but you would know because you have never tried. And things like that's.
Oh, that's interesting.
Things like that. Completely unknown talents to yourself in the world, but you happen to be very good at this.
So, well, you can imagine you probably aren't the most talented fighter pilot in the world if you've never trained to be a fighter pilot, but you're
You
talking
have the
about
capacity.
the potential.
Yes, it's
you have-
within you to do this.
Yeah, and if you did, then you would.
Whether you're born with it and or you need to develop it. So
Yeah.
singing is one of those things. Like you might be both.
There's some beautiful little girl in India, and she's got just the golden air like vocal cords, but she doesn't sing for whatever reason.
Or you have the perfect vocal cords and you have the voice of an angel, but you're in Saudi Arabia and you're not allowed to speak.
Oh, jeez.
You know,
It's
a bit crass, but like I'm
maybe even a bit
hashing out these examples. You already know what I'm going at. I'm trying to make a joke mostly.
No, it's both because there's like some seriousness to it. You know, if your culture, shuts you down from doing this thing, even though technically you could be the best at it, whoever lived, maybe.
It's weird.
I wonder how much cultural ignorance has killed things that were really beautiful.
Another I think the question I just asked was more interesting about hidden talents and people and everybody and whoever. But I was thinking, my question is, there is one best at everything. There is the best singer who's ever lived or ever will live. There is one of those. Mm-hmm. There's that for everything. And it'd be interesting to know where that is, and singing as an example. I think that the best singer or musician, whatever that is, I think that's been in the past. I feel like most, like 50% at least, of the bests have been.
The math holds up there. Now, one thing to also consider is that there's probably, I think, total in the world ever been like 21 billion people or something like that. And there's like 7 of those right now. So it's like a third of the people who have ever lived live right now. So maybe the math is that a third of the bests who ever lived at something live right now. I don't know if that's actually true. I think that's an estimation
I really
based
feel like
on
it'd be
genetics.
a lot more than 21 billion people. Where'd that number come from?
That's just something I had in my head. I don't know that that's real.
Turns out that's my special talent. I'm better than anybody else at guessing how many people have ever existed.
I'm the best who ever lived.
You know what's funny? It's funny is like somebody is the best at everything, but there are so many things to be the best of that could be redundant, stupid things. Like I have the best ability to guess how many people I have the most correct.
Yeah.
Like
I'm the
that
best-
technically counts.
I'm the best nickel balancer who ever
I
lived.
can balance nickels better than anybody who's ever lived and ever will live. Like that's amazing and stupid and funny. Like imagine having a talent like that.
I'm imagining putting that on my Tinder bio. I'm the greatest nickel balancer in the world.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, fight
You
me.
can't, because I'm the best that ever was, never will live.
Because watch this, and you just like put a nickel up really quick. You just put a nickel up really quickly. Because watch.
I imagine it falling immediately and going, I can't do it when people are watching, but or whatever it is. But if you could consistently for your joke, that's good. But
Just I'll just balance perfectly.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny that
I'm
way.
the best nickel. I told you. No, my goodness. You said something that I wanted to jump out. Oh wait, I think it was the 21 billion. I think that what they did is people, geneticists, they did a study of people's correlations, and they drew the tree back to the first humans or whatever. And then they did an estimation of how many people that would have been. And I think it was somewhere in the ballpark of 21 billion.
Maybe this is worth going on about. I would assume that if you believe in evolution in that chain of human history, that there are more people in existence in that version of reality versus the creationist story.
Oh, well, only so many of them counted as people.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that. But even then, because the earth is billions of years old. So, and humans have been around but for millions, according to evolution.
Tens of millions.
That would mean, so then you have that many years for humans versus creation only allows for 7,000 years of humans. So presumably evolution would have produced more humans, which was important because, so the 21 billion, I assume that was part of the evolutionist idea. Like, well, if that is accurate, if by that timetable 21 have existed, then if that was accurate, you're telling me less than 21 billion have ever lived according to creation?
Oh,
and a third are alive right now?
Let me explain again. This is like an actual, from what I understand, the number might not be 21 billion. Again, it could be completely different than that. This is just what I had in my head. This is like a finite number that geneticists can actually measure, because you can actually look at the genes in the most different people in the world. You know, someone from Kansas and someone from China. Maybe that's not the genetic furthest you can get apart, but you can trace back the correlatives, a couple hundred generations or whatever then this is when their parents this is where the divide happened. And if you take samples from a bunch of different people around the world, you can actually trace them all to one point. That was the cool thing about people, is that they all had the same, they're all this. Now, even if you're having an evolutionist, they were like Australopithecus, whatever. There's that kind of human. And then there was the other kind of human, which is, what is it called? There's like a couple different human kinds, and one of them went extinct, and then this human survived. But then there's little pieces, I guess, of this kind of human that got kind of involved.
But of Homo sapiens and the generic ass humans,
Yes.
they predict 21 billion.
Both of them, both of the same number. Geneticists, independent of their philosophy or theology.
I don't know if it was worth bringing up the evolution creation thing.
Yeah.
all I was really thinking is if 21 billion is correct, I wouldn't have guessed that. I wouldn't have guessed that a third of the people who have ever lived are alive right now. I wouldn't have thought that.
There are a lot of
Doesn't
people.
mean it's not true, but I never considered that. I assumed like, at least 10 times as many people of us as have lived.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It makes sense thinking about it now after you said as much. Like, well, yeah, we have the most prosperous world that's ever been.
I don't even think.
Except maybe in the beginning when like in the first 1,000 years. How long was it before the flood? Like 1,000 years.
Yeah, maybe then.
I mean, but they had to start as two people. You could reproduce a lot 1,000 years, but 7 billion. I don't think you can get. Could you get that number in? I don't know. There was still. Man, it kills me that there's so much human history. That's the seventh of the world, like 1,000 years before the flood, whatever, versus the 7,000 it's supposed to be. It's 1,000 years. We have almost no history or record of what happened. That bugs the piss out of me. There must have been crazy wars.
Technology.
Yeah.
Crazy technology.
So much. It's all gone.
Yeah.
Bothers me. Anyway.
Maybe different.
I wonder how many people could have lived in the first 1,000.
Yeah. Different creatures, maybe. Like.
For
stuff.
sure. But the idea that we are a third of all that's ever lived never crossed my mind until now. But now that I think about it, yeah, I guess that's totally possible on account of the fact that how prosperous our world is right now.
Easiest way to think that this could confirm what I just said is we didn't get even to a billion until like less than 100 years ago.
Yeah, I was wondering
we got to a billion like in 1906 or something. So I guess it's a little over 100 years. I can't remember exactly, but it was like around maybe it was in 1890.
Yeah, but if 100 years ago we increased
got
by
to
a fold
1
of
billion.
7. Wait,
Yeah.
million or your billion?
Billion.
Yeah. Well, then in 1,000 years they totally could have gotten to billions if they could have. But you're starting at 0. But that means that the growth looks like this.
Yeah, everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. It's like it goes like this. So here's the line, and then there's a lot of people, but then they die, and then there's a lot of people, and then they die, and there's a lot of people and die, and it kind of gradually goes up, but then all of a sudden, whoop, people just stop doing wars. So there's a lot of people.
Well, what I mean is reproduction.
Yeah.
It's exponential growth, like 2, 4, 8, 16. And then a count of people die. But so it always looks like this. But,
Yeah.
But until you have like 1,000,
Exactly.
2,000, 4,000, and then it skyrockets to 1 billion.
Yeah, it's actually going to do this because everybody's predicting this. It's going to go zoop, plague, zoop, and it'll do it again.
Oh,
Plague,
you're talking
plague.
about prediction for the future?
Yeah, there'll be a plague and it'll kill a bunch of people and it'll slow down.
Does
and then
war count as plague?
maybe that too. I mean, catastrophe. It'll do that. But
Did we talk about this? I feel like we did, but I feel like I've done this, like espousing our predictions for the end of the world.
yeah, I
Does
think
that sound familiar?
we've done that ourselves. We could do it again. I don't care.
Yeah. So let's go off of what you just said, which is people predict there's going to be a plague, and that's how our population goes down.
Mathematically, there has to be because they're
we
so
can't
far
sustain.
away. Well, there's people living so far away from each other that they can't get that they're going to create different stuff, and then people are moving around. And so, a coronavirus 2.0 is going to happen. And when that happens, it might not be a cough and then you die 1% of the time. It might darn well be you die 50% of the time. And it's super contagious. Like it could suck really bad. And maybe causes irreparable damage to the world forever. Hopefully not. Hopefully humans micro-evolve past it. But like it's going to happen. It's just a matter of maybe we can push it off another 400 years or whatever.
2 thoughts.
Or maybe we'll be prepared. Sorry.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
we'll be prepared. That's the dad's working with the bird.
Yeah, I was like, what's that noise? I figured out what it was. This bird.
Yeah.
So I need to read Revelations again, but for some reason, I think that World War III will only occur during the end times. But more specifically, I do not think there's going to be a nuclear holocaust because of one reason. Can you guess what that might be?
No, I can't.
You cannot, because this is my special talent. And I guess this better than anybody else about nuclear holocaust. No, because God said he'll never. Oh, wait, never mind. Backwards. God said he'll never flood the earth again, but he said in the end it's going to be covered in fire. I was like, oh shit, that could be the end. That could be nuclear holocaust. That could be how the world's covered in fire. That's how he ends the world. So I was like, I guess World War III could be the end. Plus, you're not gonna have World War IV. It's stupid. So 3 is the end. Anyway, so I was like, I hope we don't have World
You
War.
don't think you'll have 2 more world wars?
No, we've already had 2.
I don't know. People are pretty dumb.
I'm just going off of what I can. Yeah, just going off of what I can. And the Bible, if it gives any hints, it's okay. Well, I guess I haven't read it in so long.
I bet 2 years after World War I, people thought that there would never be a World War II. I bet people were like,
no, but I do
this
think there's
could
going to be a
never
World War III. But I think that's good. I think
people wise up?
no.
Because I think.
Let me.
Sorry, you should.
Let me separate something. I'm still thinking through this. Again, I'm really, really ignorant. If the world ends in fire, I'm assuming that could be nukes. I don't know that. Hell, there could be. We could have a World War III with a nuclear holocaust, and the world goes on much longer in post-apocalyptic times, and we start over, and then the world ends with fire and a totally new society, and that's way in the future. That's possible. Just because the nuclear holocaust came doesn't mean that is how the world's going to end. I'm just assuming that.
Yeah, you're talking about the Left Behind series, more or less.
Is that a book?
Well, just the series, like just series.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Left Behind. It's like an old Christian novel series. It was
Okay,
like
so it is a book. I don't know what you're talking about.
Not. It was like future fiction, but kind of trying. It was like based on Revelations, kind of. Like your prediction is based pretty much solely on biblical predictions about the future, and like assuming that this is right, this is what it looks like, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a simple thought, but if the world does end in fire, as the Bible says, or as I remember it saying, then how convenient would it be that a nuclear holocaust or nuclear war could fit that bill? That's all I was thinking.
Yeah, it could be a meteor too. Meteors are pretty fiery.
We already did one of those. We already had a meteor. We had a flood.
And then Bruce Willis blew it up.
Oh, so we already took care of that.
Yeah, he did.
Like in the 90s.
He did the first time, but maybe another one's coming. Maybe we won't be able to do it again. What if Bruce Willis dies before it gets here?
Armageddon 2.
Yeah, and then it's going to have to star on it's going to star middle-aged Tom Holland. It's going to be a different.
He's not a meteor fighting type.
You don't think so?
He's more of a neighborhood type.
Okay, well maybe he'll branch out. Something about middle-aged Tom Holland doing Armageddon 2.
Wow,
I hope it happens.
What a jump.
Sorry.
Okay,
No,
anyway.
I do want to hear what you have to say about it because I'm interested.
Oh, no, I pretty much expelled all my thoughts, which were not much. I want to jump over to you now. So have you any thoughts about how the world's going to end? Because I just assume, my best guess has always been, well, nuclear war would be the end.
I know the way that I hope it doesn't end, even though, if the world ends either anyway, it's kind of like sucky and okay. Depends on your philosophy in life, but it's like scary. But I think the scariest way would be, by the way, meteor's going to get here in 9 months or 11 months, and we're not going to be able to do anything about it. So you have 11 months to live, and
cool.
Don't hurt people.
Go crazy and hurt people, please.
Because then that's going to happen for sure.
Yes, that's going to happen. There's
going to be a bunch of people
that'd be awesome.
stealing it. No, it wouldn't.
I mean, narratively, like if you're telling a story, like, I want to see what happens now, but I don't want to obviously be involved in this.
It's a movie. There's a movie, something like, I think Steve Carell's in it and somebody else is in it, but it's like basically that. It's like you have like a year or whatever, and then the meteor's going to come, but we can't do anything about it. So please behave, and anybody who's going to work to do law and order is going to do it voluntarily. But so get with your family, I guess. And so the whole story is about this like lonely guy whose like wife leaves him because she realizes, I don't want to be with this guy at the end of the world. And so he's sad because he's lonely. And then there's another girl who's sad for a different reason. They fall in love, but they fall in love just in time for them. It's super sad because it ends with them like on the bed and the meteor's coming, and they just hug each other, and then the world dies.
Nice.
It's fucking
very
sad. Yeah, I didn't mean to cuss there, but it was sad. Anyway, I've like left that movie being like, that would be the worst way. I think that's the saddest way, is just just resigning. Like, yep, we're gonna die, and we can't do anything about it.
That is what it is. Yeah, you're gonna die. But for some reason, knowing that it's a meteor seems to make it different. I guess what's different is no one else will make it either. I guess that changes.
Yeah,
things.
it feels sort of hopeful when things go on without you. But when it all ends, then it feels really. I mean, if you believe in God and you believe it steadfastly, then you can have like the utmost confidence in everything. Then you can just be like, dude, like it actually gets better after this. So let's not. This is a time for celebration. Let's keep this thing going for 11 more months, and then we get to go home. Then it's like super happy and hopeful. But it's tough to have that if you're not just swimming in that doctrine and believing it unconsciously. There's a lot of people like me who believe it and who behave like it's true, and just to the degree that they are able. But then, like inside there's the doubt thing. And that's a bummer when it comes to that. That's like, okay, for example, if I heard you have a year and then the meteors come in, so get with the people you love. The first thing I'd think is, well, some of the people that I would want to be with aren't in my life anymore, and that's kind of a bummer. And then all the other people that I was hoping would be in my life, I don't know. I don't even know yet. So am I going to go find them? And when I do, I'm going to only have 10 months, like hopefully. But then again, I'd have like my friends, my family, and I think where I'm going with this. It's like, all right, well, it's like, all right, I guess it's going to just be ending, but it'd be scary.
I don't like thinking about what I would do in that situation, but it just sounds like a cool narrative idea, which apparently has been done. It's a movie.
I actually had some ideas to make it better.
Anyway, you can go on with this if you want to, but I want to go back. You strayed from the question, which is what's your best guess as to how the world's going to end?
A meteor.
Okay. You can go on with
Actually,
how that might play out, or you can go on with your fantasy.
I think it's probably if I actually thought about it, it would probably be tribalism. It'd probably end the world before anything. Somebody some dude would get it in their head. Some nihilist would get it in their head that life is meaningless, and he's going to be a super capable nihilist. He'll create a bomb that explodes the earth or some crazy stuff.
I do think though that's going to happen. The way you said, what tribalism
or some crazy
reduced
nihilist
to tribalism, something like that.
Yeah,
I think, or you might call that class warfare. I think that's going to happen before the end of the world ever happens. It does not necessarily related to the end of the world, but I think that's going to happen. I don't think I did talk about this in the podcast. Remember that I said I don't think America's going to last.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Well, nothing does, but
yeah, exactly. Nothing does. Nothing. Why would this be different? I mean, capitalism, I guess, is kind of different. But
yeah.
And it's the most prosperous it's ever been, but the pessimist in me says, well, then it's overdue,
Well, and it'll be the biggest fall,
right?
Potentially. Yeah, no, I get it. I have something to say that's even more depressing.
Good.
But it's about the story about that idea, and the idea to make it even like more realistic and stuff. So this scenario, the world's ending in a year, and you have this time. There's a lot of people who won't be able to come to terms with that, and so I imagine there will be a company that rises and says, hey, basically, we offer human euthanizations. And so if you want to just check out early, then it's like the moral way to go early if you don't want to see the meteor or whatever. I imagine that would happen.
That's a cool idea, but legally I don't think that a law could be bothered to endorse it. At which point, assuming it's not legal, then people will just commit suicide. They don't need a company to do it.
Yeah,
but let's assume for this, because it's a fun idea, the law goes, let's be humane. Let's offer us those corporations that euthanasia. That's an interesting idea.
It is, because then in that case, if the world is ending anyway, what's the point of law? Like, you're going to keep things a little bit less bad for 11 months. Maybe it's worth it, but I'm assuming a lot of police officers are like, I don't want to mess with this. I just want to go.
There'd be a lot of chaos that could not be helped.
Yeah,
like that, like people not going to work, stuff like that.
What's the point?
Yeah, and then it'd be really,
alcohol.
It'd be a really miserable last bit of existence on Earth. Hence, more reasons why people would want to just clock out early. That's what I say. I say clock out early. That's what I mean for suicide. I'm sure that phrase has been used, but that's what I came up with, and I like it, and it probably already exists.
Yeah, this is super depressing, but they don't ignore that part of it in the movie. If I remember right, there's several people that just off themselves in the movie. This is depressing.
You have to talk about it if you don't want to. You can just answer the question. You think a meteor. Why do you think a meteor is going to end the world?
I think a tribalism thing.
Okay.
I think a natural disaster is the soonest I can imagine ending. It would have to be because of a natural disaster. Because I think the tribalism is like a slow crumble, and then eventually
I do think that's going to happen.
Yeah,
tribalism, class warfare, whatever you call that. I think that's going to happen.
Either a manufactured disaster like a nihilist making a big bomb and blowing up,
or a biological weapon.
Yep,
like a virus or something.
I'm scared of nihilists more than tribalism. People have survived tribalism. I don't think there's some nihilists that have existed in which everybody they touched, none of those people survived. So nihilists are who
I wish I was more familiar with what Revelation says so I could try to fit my guess into what that narrative is. Like, I can't remember if the world on fire is literally the very end before he makes a new earth, or if it's like the world's on fire and then Antichrist comes. I don't remember the order of things.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know for sure, but then I could start to try to fit in my best guess based on that blueprint.
Oh yeah. Well, didn't you know that the Antichrist has already been here like 50 times and like 50 different people?
Yes.
Including our former president.
Yeah.
He was also the Antichrist.
Everyone that you don't like.
And our current president. He's also the Antichrist.
Every time. Antichrist keeps getting elected. It's cliche and predictable, but at the same time, it's like, okay, if Antichrist is going to come and persuade the world or majority of people, wouldn't you then assume that, like, well, that'd probably be something like a president, or maybe a celebrity? But I'm thinking president, right? That's just an obvious guess, but maybe it's too obvious.
Yeah, we keep electing.
Maybe it's just some guy on YouTube. We don't know.
It's Philip DeFranco.
Every social commentary pundit on YouTube. No. Yeah, but I just assume, I think anyone who assumes that Antichrist is real would be a president.
Mm-hmm. You can imagine
it's funny to think it could be anybody else. We have no idea. But he's popular in some way because he gets to everybody.
On today's episode, we're going to just jump right into it. I'm going to take over
God
the world.
isn't real, but I can save you. Now, this cool stamp you guys for $19.99 goes right on your forehead. Super quick, super awesome. It's super legit. 666.
It's going to be great.
Salvation.
It's the seal, it's just going to be
you all
the
know
seal.
my pet Dragosup, or whatever. I don't know enough about the Revelations, but like these guys, dragon is like this dude with the dragon is really cool.
You guys aren't going to believe this, but I went to the pet store the other day, found this crazy 7-headed dragon with the hooves and with the tail of a pointed tail. I can't remember.
Antichrist is a YouTuber. What a great sketch.
How's my Philip DeFranco impression, by the way?
Oh, I'm not familiar with his voice, so I don't know.
It's very much like that, and everything from what I can tell, it's pretty. He's really articulate, and I can't do him that great.
Oh man,
I'm just imagining that be the case. It's funny. No, I don't know. I don't know about all that Antichrist and the end times stuff and the rapture.
Hey, speaking about depression and the end times, do you maybe want to go drink alcohol
tonight?
You have to answer. I was maybe just a segue to leave.
Yeah, we could. We could.
We'll
do we do?
Not tonight.
I think, but I have an idea for it. We should come up with slogans for something again because I liked it.
Okay. All right. What's the premise?
Tesla.
How about a Antichrist running for president slogan?
I like it.
Okay. So this is what you'd see on a presidential vote. What's his name? What's the Antichrist's name? Kevin. It's just some guy. I don't know. It doesn't matter what his name is. Let's just call him Antichrist. Vote Antichrist.
Yeah, vote Antichrist.
2024, whatever it says, and then it's the tagline.
God, LOL. Campaigns for the Antichrist. Oh
right.
man,
I feel like I'm on pressure to go quickly.
No, we don't have to.
I got to answer though. This is a game we play on our own, just back and forth. All right. It doesn't get any better than this. That doesn't sound very good. No, go ahead. We gotta get back and forth. We gotta knock a bunch of these out. What year is it? 2020? Yeah, so 2024 is what I'm imagining it saying. Antichrist, 2024.
Make the earth great again. I don't know.
Antichrist 2024, Earth 2.0, because the earth is going to be.
Yeah. I'm Jesus, believe me.
Yeah. I have all the answers, is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I have all the answers.
I'm definitely Jesus Christ.
Antichrist? I'm definitely Jesus Christ. That's
Jesus Christ 2024. God, lol.
God law is a really good one. Antichrist 2024. My opponent doesn't have a pet dragon.
That's like some smear campaign.
Yeah. The other guy doesn't even have a dragon.
Yeah. Yeah. Does you have a dragon and it's awesome? Can do magic. Oh man, there's so many. I need to read Revelations again to really get the jokes for it.
Yeah. I need to work on the material.
Yeah. It's like, you have my word. 7 seals of it. I don't know. It's like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's tough. It was easier doing like Pringles last week.
Get it on your head.
Get it in your head.
Instead of in your head, it's like get it on your head because you're getting your forehead stamped with 666. So the tagline is get it on your head. And that's not very good.
You know, the Antichrist 2028. We have barcodes. Get your barcode.
Antichrist 2024. Why come you don't have tattoo?
Why come you don't have this?
Because you have to have that to be saved, I think is what the 666 is. Like you follow, you that's you acknowledging you follow. That's the mark of the beast that acknowledges that you are basically pledging allegiance to this Antichrist and following him. That's all it means.
Yeah.
And he claims to save those who have it.
Oh yeah.
But no, specifically the people who don't get the stamp, they get killed or persecuted, I think.
That does sound familiar.
Like people will put it on just out of fear, like the consequence of not following Antichrist. Like he gets so powerful, something like that.
It's like the bowing in Babylon thing.
Yes, it's just like that. But
okay. I get it. No, actually, that actually sounds right. I haven't read it in so long and when I read it last, I was like a teenager and it was a young one.
I want to say that people who don't get thrown into the lake of fire. That doesn't make any sense. But maybe he burns them. I don't know, whatever. So like Antichrist 2024, it's better than burning.
Better than burning. Wow, that's really good. But I feel like it would be kind of deceitful. It'd be kind of like
the tagline would be deceitful.
Yeah, he'd be like a charming dude that everybody
I
likes.
always imagine he's like super charismatic and
sure.
Like all the
he's not old.
It's not that what he's saying isn't illogical. He's just so, maybe it's perfectly illogical, but he's just so damn likable.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I always thought.
I don't know. I don't know. Realistically, the slogan would probably be really compelling. Like, that's a good slogan.
Yeah.
That makes me want to get the tattoo.
Makes me patriotic and want to get a tattoo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a tag.
The whole world wants to. Unity. I don't know. It's an interesting thought experiment. I just don't know enough about the book to get jokes like this.
Yeah.
That's okay. We can pick something we know more about.
We'll do that game another time. It's a fun game.
I like the game.
Yeah, we don't have enough on the source material.
It was a good idea.
It's like being asked
We're just uneducated.
It's like being asked to make tagline jokes about the show ER. Like we haven't seen the show. So we can go for like we know about doctors and hospitals.
You'll be dying to know what happens.
Like, no idea.
You'll be coding to know what happens. You'll be getting an IV stat to know what happens.
ER, our tagline, scalpel. Because we don't know anything about doctors or
ER.
Lip injections. Like we don't, nothing. Anyway.
Yeah, we could do that, but all right, we're done here.
Correcto. We're leaving forever, and by forever we mean until next week. Assuming that the roads aren't crap, we can come back out here. I had a good time.
Me too. Keep tuning in because we got some cool things coming up soon. At some point, we're going to change things up a little bit.
Soon at some point, aka eventually.
Yeah.
Soon at some point.
We're going to tell you exactly when we know.
Yeah, exactly when we know.
Yeah, precisely when it happens.
It's coming right up after we figure it out. You know, it's like.
Yeah. We actually know what we're going to do. We just have to do it.
We just don't know when.
It's too cold to do it right now.
True dat.
Yeah. True dat. Love your butt and butts. All of them. Both cheeks. Want to hug them both. I was
going to say keep your cheeks together.
Yeah, keep it tight. It's cold out there.
Yeah.
Keep your cheeks, man. Keep your cheeks for weeks.
Protect that sphincter.
That's right. Buttholes. The end.
All right.
Buttholes, the end.
See you guys.
Good podcast today.